Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't resubscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. On this channel, I cover dating, relationships, love, life from an asexual perspective. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you about how to become the best future self of yourself. How to become your best future self. If you didn't know who I am Sandra Bellamy. I'm the author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives book out on Amazon and also Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. So go and grab your copies of these and let's get started with this episode. So yes, how do you become the best future self? How do you become your future self? What is your future self? So in life, we're conditioned by society to believe certain things. This goes from birth to growing up as an adult. So we're conditioned to believe that basically you go to school, you study hard, you get a job, which is usually a 9 to 5 job, something like that. You have sex, you have marriage, you have kids, you live in a house, and then pretty much you die. And that's basically your life. And you have to keep the human species going. And yeah, that's mostly what people are taught to do. And so as you go on in life, you can buy into that idea that yes, that's the only thing that most people can do. There's nothing else you can do. This is a life you're dealt. This is a hand you're given. And so basically you've got to accept that, or you can do something about your life if you're not happy with the way it is. So you might be very happy to go out to work, to come home, watch Netflix and chill. And if you're truly happy doing that, then that's great, because the goal of life is to be happy. And success is not about money, but it's about happiness. Of course, some people who've got more money can create more situations for themselves to be happier. But people who've got loads of money are not necessarily happy people. So the end goal of anything in life should be your happiness, your well-being, and for you to feel good in your life. That's what we're here for. We can look at our lives and we can reflect on them, and we can see the good things and we can see the bad things, and we can also see where we're heading or where we don't want to head. So if, for example, our life is not where we want it to be and it's a specific place in our life and we're just not happy, we're not happy with where we live, we're not happy with the relationship we've got. If we're in a relationship, we're not happy with the way our siblings are with us, we're not happy with the job we have. It's up to us to change that. It's up to us to recognize that we have the power to change our own lives. And it's up to us to take our own life in our hands and create that change for ourselves. Unfortunately, no one is going to save us. No one's going to come along and change our life for us for the better, because they don't have our best interests at heart. And it's not up to them to live your life for you. It's not up to them to change your life. It's not up to them to better your life. It's your responsibility, no one else's. You are accountable and you are responsible for your own life. And if you haven't got to the stage yet where you can take responsibility and accountability for your own life, then that's some work you need to do on yourself in order to accept where you are in life. Yes, circumstances can throw you into situations where you don't want to be. I have experienced that multiple times in my life. And, I was basically going to be made homeless last year. And so I had to get somewhere quickly to live. And so, yeah, I mean, I live next to a road, and a main road, which isn't great for live streaming. It's not the best situation for me to be in. But I don't see myself staying here forever and a day. I think it's going to be a temporary thing, but I'm just glad to have somewhere that matches the majority of my needs at the moment. And then I can work on finding out where to live in the future. And I can move, because I am single, because I am a sole artist of life. Then it means that I can become my future self, and wherever I think my future self would live and the life they would live, I can then live into that. So a future self is all about visioning like your best life, your best self. And like, if Money were no object, and if you could be in any circumstances you wanted to, wherever you wanted to live, what would your ideal scenario be? Like, where would you live? How would your place look like? How would your home look like? What would you eat? What would you drink? What type of friends would you have? What type of career would you have? Would you have an online business? Would you work for an employer? Would you be retired? Like, how does that play out? So basically, your future self is your ideal of what you think your future should look like in an ideal world. And although this is not an ideal world, you can still direct your life to the way you want it to go, to be near to that future self that you envisage for yourself. It does mean that you're going to have to work hard to change your life. You're going to have to decide who you want to become. So it doesn't have to be like a major, major thing, but any change can be major because our brains are hardwired and programmed to keep us safe, not to change. So when we try to change ourselves, it comes up with a lot of resistance. But when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, that's when you'll change. So, for example, before the age of 10 years old, I was very, very shy girl. I was very lonely, very shy kid. I had one friend at like up to about the age of 9, and then 10 we broke up friends because she said something horrible to me, and that was it. And that was the only friend I had at primary school in school at that time. I had a girl I saw outside of school, but she did end up going to that school, but she was much younger than me. So we didn't really talk in school, it was mostly out of school. So like school got quite lonely then, and I didn't have anyone to talk to. And, my life was pretty miserable back then. And I decided from a very young age that I didn't want to be like that anymore. I didn't want to be like I didn't want to be an introverted person. I didn't want to be this quiet, shy girl because it didn't suit me. It wasn't making me happy. I was feeling lonely being that way. So, I decided at 10 years old, that it wasn't good. And then I went to secondary school, and that's when things really started to change for me. And when I finally did my work experience in radio when I was 15, in birth certificate age, I did a work experience in radio, and I knew then at that point that I wanted to work in radio as a professional career. Well, if you work in radio, you can't be a shy girl. You can't, if you're in the media, you can't go around being shy. You have to come out of your shell. You have to be able to speak in front of people. You have to be able to change yourself. So I went from a really shy, quiet girl who's very, very, I would say back then, I was, instead of an extrovert, I was very introverted. I was very introverted, very shy, and I didn't really speak to many people. I was very withdrawn into myself, and I just didn't like that of me. I didn't like myself like that. So from about the age of 15, that's when I really changed myself and decided that I wasn't going to be this type of person anymore. I had the change happen at 10 to a certain extent, but it's only when I was like 15 that I really changed, when I knew at 15 years old that I was born to be in the media and for a very special purpose, and that I would be well known in the media for a very special purpose, but I didn't know what that was. And to this day, I'm still following that path. I still know that I'm gonna be very famous for something. Obviously, for asexuality, I'm quite famous now. Um, but it's not about fame, it's about purpose, it's about mission, it's about legacy. I'm not just gonna be famous for the sake of it. I wanna be famous, or believe I should be famous, and am going to be more famous because I'm helping people, because I need to serve people, because I need to help people on their journey in life. Just like with this video, I'm trying to explain to you that you can be another version of yourself. You don't have to stay the same as you are. You don't have to stay in the same life. You don't have to stay in the same circumstances. You can actually change yourself, but it requires conscious thought. And for you to decide that you're just not happy with the type of life you're leading anymore. So therefore, you need to become someone else. And the next version of you. So you might have noticed that I signed up for a speaking boot camp, Blue Talk speaking boot camp. This cost me a lot of money. I did the free one at the weekend, and then I've signed up. And so, from next Wednesday onwards, I've already got the emails about it. I'll be learning how to be a public speaker, taking a proper public speaking course by a guy who does it professionally. I have done public speaking courses before, but nothing so intense like this. This is a 3-month program. It's a 12-week program. And you get a module released every week. So I'm really, really excited because I'm going to be in a book as well with the package I've bought, which is going to be with Ken Honda from Mind Valley. I'm going to be on the Blue Talk stage, virtual stage, and I'm also going to be on the podcast. I'm really super excited because it's going to be a lot of dreams come true at once this year for me. And so, yeah, I'm really, really, like basically co-authoring a book with Ken Honda. If you don't know who he is, he's from Mind Valley. And if you don't know what Mind Valley is, it's a self-development / personal development company online that you can take lots of courses to improve yourself on. So, you can change yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't have to stay the same. Our minds will tell us this is as good as it gets. We can't change, and we want someone else to help change our lives for us. Like, I wasn't told years ago, you got to change your life yourself. I just assumed that other people would help me to change my life because I guess as a kid, when you grow up, you feel quite helpless and vulnerable, and you look to caretakers and peers and older people, teachers and stuff like that to actually help you shape your life and change your life. But then you realize that once you had to leave home, you're pretty much like abandoned on your own, and you have to go and do these things for yourself. And you can't rely on other people for your happiness. You can't rely on other people to change your life. You can't rely on other people to change something in you that's fundamentally within you. You know the best thing for you. You can be your best coach to yourself. So step one is to realize that you want to make a change, that there's something in your life that you don't like and it's not right. Number two is you need to sit in quietness with yourself and reflect, like, and close your eyes and like, what would your future best self look like? If you can't visualize, because some people have a hard time visualizing, even I have a hard time visualizing. Like, I can't see everything in my future. I can't see all my future self. I can't see everything. And from now till then, there's a great big disassociation from my future self to how I am now, to a certain extent. But some of the things are still, like there. But it's very difficult. So what I recommend you doing is, you can't visualize it, it's just like write down in a journal, like get a journal and just write down what you would like your future to look like, rather than, if you can't visualize it in your head, just write it down. Like, where would you like to live? What would you like to experience in your life? What type of emotions? What type of people do you want in your life? Like, what would make you happy in your life? Like, what career, what ideal relationship would you like to be in, or not at all? What would your family look like? Like, family life look like? What would your soul calling be? What would you do if you could do anything in the world? Like, I love what I do. I love YouTubing on this channel. I love writing books that change lives. I wouldn't want to change that, because that is something that's really working and good. So when you look at your life, you have to ask yourself, what isn't working? Like, what's not good? Like, what things do you need to change? And then you also need to ask yourself, what is working? And so you need to do more of what is working and less of what isn't working. And if something isn't working, to sort the things out that aren't working, work on the things that aren't working. And when you see your future self, like, I see myself having loads of books out, like being an international best-selling author and having loads of books out. And so I still have a long way to go between now and then, but I do think it's achievable. And, it is good to get a mentor. It is good to pay someone to help you on your journey. That's why I've decided to invest in myself and buy the speaker bootcamp, Blue Talk Speaker Bootcamp, because I know there's going to be a great investment, because there's people that have far much more knowledge about what I need to do to improve my life and my speaking journey. Because when you improve your skills, your life skills, and your business skills, you automatically improve yourself. You become a better version of yourself. You become a future version of yourself that you're not currently. If you look back in your life, you need to realize how far you've come. So what's the difference from your life years ago to where you are now? I bet for the majority of you, you've changed dramatically, or you've made some changes. You might be living in a different area now, which is better for you. You might stick up for yourself more now. You might put boundaries in place with people more now. You might take time out for yourself more. You might go out more. You might pamper yourself more. Like, what are the things that you have changed about yourself to be the person you are now? Because if you realize that you have made changes in your life and that you're still okay, you're still safe, you're still good, then you can realize that you can change again and you can develop again. Life is a journey of discovery of oneself. And it's all about becoming the best version of yourself and improving yourself for yourself, first and foremost, but to grow into the person that you really want to become. This means you don't have to just accept who you are now is always going to be who you are if you're not happy. So, first step, like I said, is awareness, realizing there's some things that you're not happy with. Second is basically journaling out how you would like your life to be. So it's like visualizing it, imagining it, but just journal it if you can't think visually in pictures or anything like that. And then, set the intention for what type of person that you want to become. Like, you don't just write about it, set the intention. Like, how determined are you to become that person, to have that life, to have that relationship, to have that self-love? Like, what is it going to take? And then when you've set the intention, you then need to find people or places or things that can get you those things that you want in your life. So, for example, if you want to learn photography, but you're a rubbish photographer, you then need to go and get, like at college, for example, a photography qualification. You need to learn from people that because you don't currently know what to do. And the only way you're going to learn is by learning from someone who's done it so that you can do it. I never ever thought I'd be designing asexual merchandise in a million years, but I've got a Redbubble shop, in case you didn't know, in the description. This means I design asexual merchandise. I would never, ever, ever have thought about that years ago. I would never think I'm capable of designing asexual merchandise. That's something I didn't believe I could ever do. So that's been a change. So this is a future version of myself that I now am, because I'm capable of doing that. But years ago, I would have been like, what? You think I can design a t-shirt? That's ridiculous. When I first started designing stuff for asexuals, I used to actually sketch it out and get another person to do the designs for me and tell him that's what I wanted and pay him to do it. But soon it came to a head that he couldn't even do the sizes I wanted him to do. He kept getting it wrong. And he's like, oh, well, why don't you just do it yourself? So I literally watched just a couple of YouTube videos and found out how to do it myself. And then my second design, it's my first design, second like attempt at doing it to improve the position of it. It just sold. It well, actually, that wasn't even an asexual t-shirt. It was a quirky t-shirt. Because I've got a brand of quirky t-shirt as well. And it was just like, oh, hi, Liam. Goddess Sandra, you're beautiful as you are. Oh, that's really sweet. Thank you, Liam. I really appreciate that kind comment. Thank you. Lots of love to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Oh, that's a lovely thing to say. Yeah, so I didn't think I could design asexual merchandise. So the person who could design asexual merchandise, which I can do now, was a future version of me. So we can go from someone who is without knowledge, doesn't know what to do in certain areas of life, to being more of an expert in it, to being, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an expert, but know how to do it. Someone who's competent in knowing how to do it. So don't think that just because where you are in life is where you're going to stay. You need to find out what you want to do, set the intention, and then take action steps to go and get what it is you want to do. Take action steps, like I want to become a best-selling author. I don't know if I've ever actually been that before with the books I've got. But that's why I've bought the speaker boot camp because uh, I'm gonna be in a book, a co-author a book, and so that is or has a high probability of becoming a best-selling book. So if that book becomes a best-selling book, then I will be able to call myself a best-selling author, which will be a dream come true. So I'm really looking forward to that. Obviously, there's no guarantees in life, but what I'm saying is if you work towards your dreams and what you really want in life, you can achieve anything. You've just got to be literal about it. Like, what is it I want to do? Okay, who's doing that? How do I do that? Let's go. Right? And you might have to save up the money for ages to do something. Like this money I spent the weekend wasn't something that I just got as money that's been saved for like a long time. Um, yeah. So, you know, I invested it in myself rather than waste it. I invested it in myself because I know that it's going to pay off tenfold in the future because the skills I'll learn and the people I'll meet and connections I'll make through that is just going to impact my life greatly. And I'm so happy to be doing that. I want to improve my life. I don't want to be on my deathbed saying, I didn't do this and I didn't do that. So let me ask you a question. Like, what's going to happen when it comes to the end of your life? Are you going to have been happy with it? Are you going to look back and say, I achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in spite of what anyone said, thinks, or does? Are you going to be able to actually say, I achieved my dreams? That nothing held me back, that I didn't listen to naysayers and people telling me I couldn't do it, that I went for my dreams and I got them. Are you going to be able to say that to yourself? Or are you going to look back and think, I didn't do what I wanted to do? I played small. I didn't think about me. I just thought about other people. And I didn't think what my future would look like. Liam, uh, so, oh, big hugs for you, Liam. So it's up to you to change your life. Anyone can change their life. Anyone can change their life. So you have to like ask yourself, like, how are you going to change it? How are you going to improve it to makes you happy so you can become a happier person? So you can feel good in your life. 'Cause everyone has the right, the birthright to feel good, to feel happy, to feel loved, to feel cherished and adored. Everyone has the right in life to be who they truly are. But loads of people quash our dreams. Loads of people quash us. They want us to play small because some people are jealous. Some people don't want to see us succeed. Some people have got problems and issues of their own and they're putting them on you. Some people are just not good for you. Some people are toxic. Some people are naysayers. Some people don't believe you can change your life because they can't do it. But I'm telling you, you can change your life. And if you look back in your life, you'll probably see where there's been changes. Like I said, I changed myself from being introverted to extroverted, from a shy kid at school to now being able to speak on this channel, to be able to like speak at the UK Asexuality conference in 2018. That wasn't easy from an anxiety point of view because I do still have anxiety. But the happiness that I felt being a speaker in London at the UK Asexuality conference in 2018 far outweighed the nerves I felt because I knew that I wanted to do that. Want to speak more and more. Even though I have an anxiety condition, I believe I'm meant to be speaking on stage in London. I believe I'm meant to be speaking. I'm a very strong, powerful female. And there's a lack of female speakers, actually. The majority are still guys a lot of the time, and I'm very good at speaking. And so, I need to put that talent to good use. I've always known since I was 15 I'm good at speaking. That's when I started doing radio presenting. I did voluntary radio presenting. And so, well, it was 17 when I kind of like got more into that. With 15, I just went and did some work experience. 17 was when I actually started doing that. When I was under 17, I wasn't really allowed to do it so much because of the age thing. But I did it for a number of years and I really enjoyed it. And I still like speaking, but I prefer video overall. even though podcasts are really popular now. So I might do a podcast in the future, but I'm really into YouTubing. But obviously you can take the audio and put it on podcasts. So I have been thinking about that in the last few months anyway. But, I love video. I love video more than radio now. And I actually, enjoy talking to you and being on YouTube. It feels so good to me. And what you do with your future self, like the things that are working, like I said, the things that are working, you keep the things that are working, you do more of them. But the things that aren't working in your life, you need to change them because no one's going to change them for you. You have to take responsibility and accountability to change your life. And this is not what we're taught as children. We rely on other people, obviously, as children, to be able to shape our lives for us, to tell us what to do, to give us direction, to form our lives. But then we have to realize at a certain point that we're responsible for our life. We're responsible for our happiness, and we have to go out there and create that happiness within ourselves and within our own lives. And you can change. I have definitely changed. I used to be very, very shy. Now I'm a real extrovert a lot of time. I still have some introverted tendencies. Like I spent the last 4 days indoors. I've only been out today to get some food shopping. That's a lot of days indoors for an extrovert. Some of my introverted friends go out more than I do. So there's still some introverted tendencies there, but overall I'm extrovert. I prefer to be out. I prefer to be talking to friends. I like speaking to people, I like being on this channel. So, I'm not saying that you have to change yourself if you don't want to change. If you don't want to change, fine. But if you don't change and you're unhappy with the way your life is, then it's your responsibility to change that and to make it happen and to make it better and to get the resources to make it better, to get the help to make it better. I'm not saying you have to do it alone. Like I'm just saying I bought a boot camp recently because I need to learn more skills. I need to learn from someone who's been there, done it, who's currently doing it, who knows more than I do. You are on this for much bigger than a 9 to 5 job. You are a big personality. Oh, that's really sweet, Liam. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah. I don't like 9 to 5 jobs, to be honest, 'cause I think I was wasted in there. Not because I don't think that it's valuable for some people to do them, because at the end of the day, if some people didn't do 9 to 5 jobs, we wouldn't be, for example, seeing people at the supermarket helping to put our products through and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that every 9 to 5 job's bad. I just think that it's not good working for someone else if you're not happy and you're not changing lives. I think it's, the way the world has worked for years is that people are basically slaves for other people's dreams. It's like if you work for a supermarket, you are working for predominantly, obviously, to get food on the table and stuff, which is really, really good. But obviously, you're working for the big managing director, the big owner of the company, and stuff like that, to line their pockets with money. You're not fulfilling your dreams; you're fulfilling theirs. Right? But unless your dream job is literally to work in a supermarket and you absolutely adore it, then that's great. Don't think I'm knocking that as brilliant if that's what you want to do. And your dream job is literally to be in a supermarket all day because you get to talk to people all day and you love it and you're excited about it. That's good because the goal of life is to be happy at the end of the day. But even if you do work at a supermarket, you're probably thinking there's still more to just being at the checkout. There's still like hours after your 9 to 5 job. There's still hours after 5 o'clock where you could be doing other things, where you could be YouTubing or podcasting or doing photography or doing artwork or setting up a charity or doing voluntary work to help other people, helping the homeless, helping the needy, helping the church, doing something good in your life. You don't have to just be doing stuff for yourself all the time. In fact, if you help other people, it usually makes you feel better about yourself. The more we help others and we get into service to help others, and we don't just think of ourselves in life, the more we think of other people, the more usually better our life is. Because we are caring about something other than ourselves. We get out of our own heads more and think, hey, this person needs help. Let me help them. We get out of our own heads and we think, how can I help other people? And when you help other people and people are like, God, you helped me so much. I feel so much better for talking to you, for seeing you, for your presence, then how good does that feel? Feels amazing. It feels like that they appreciate you, that they've seen you, that they value you, that you're heard, and this is what life is all about, because I help people now, I feel better even about myself because I help other people. And I view the fact that if I upskill my levels of knowledge and intelligence and know-how, then I can be on this channel to help spread more knowledge and awareness to you. I'm paying lots of money to get this knowledge, whereas I'm sharing the majority of it on this channel for free, right? And so, I can pay it forward, and so it's always good to know that your future self can be a different self to what you see now, and that you don't have to stay stuck in the person that you are. You can become another person. You can become the person that you've always dreamed to be. It might take you years. Some people get their dreams like overnight, but it's not very often. When you see overnight success, it's usually these people have worked behind the scenes for like 10 years, slogging their guts out when no one else saw them. Like I've been helping asexuals now since 2015 on this channel. It took me over 5 years just to get over 1,000 subscribers on this channel, whereas other channels, they get it a lot more easily than I do. But I'm here for you, so I'm not doing it for the numbers. I like to see the numbers rise because obviously it means I reach more people. But, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna stop being me or go and do some silly thing which I don't think fits into this channel just because someone told me to do it to raise the subs. I will raise subs, if I think it benefits the channel in with what I'm doing. So, for example, I do a lot of food videos. Like, I like doing them, I hate cooking, but I like doing food videos on here because I just think they're quite nice and colourful. It's easy shorts to do. Loads of people seem to like it, and I find it quite ironic that I absolutely hate cooking. Yeah, people seem to like my cooking, and I'm like, this is just weird. And so I do it because a lot of asexuals like food as well. A lot of us don't want sex, and we prefer our food, and we like good things in our tummies. We like to feel nice, and I just like to share my day. I think it's important. I think it's important to be inspired that that you can live a colorful life as an asexual person, that you can and you should be proud to eat different things, and should be proud that you are who you are, and so I like to inspire and I like to do videos that inspire. One person a long time ago suggested a video about wigs. It's like, I don't wear a wig. I know one person that wears a wig, but they would never want to be on camera. So, it's like, I'm not interested in wigs. And they were like, oh, but it's really trending now. I'm like, I'm not interested in doing a video just because it's trending. If it trended and I happened to really love love the trend and I was something I was already interested in and I did and I wanted to do it and I thought it would add value to this channel, then yeah. A lot of channels are based on trends, and I'm not saying I'm never going to do any videos that are based on trends, but what I'm saying is I'm not just gonna do something for the sake of it's a trend and it's got nothing to do with asexuality and I don't see any benefit. You are probably a great cook. I don't think I'm a great cook, Liam, but thank you. Yeah, I hate cooking. I really hate cooking, but I do like eating. I hate cooking, but I love eating. So, I've got to cook in order to eat. But yeah, I mean, I did once. I've cooked for one of my friends once. That's it, because I hate cooking, so I don't cook for my friends. But once I did because they took me out for Christmas Day, and they were staying in a hotel locally, and so because all the rest of the places were shut on Christmas Day, I ate lunch out with them that they paid for, and then I cooked the evening meal, which took me ages to cook a full meal, and it was just like they liked it, they enjoyed my food, but I just hate cooking. I can't stand it. So I do the minimal amount of stuff that I can do. And maybe my future self does like cooking more. I don't know. But I think if I had a future self that had a bigger place, I'd have probably a dishwasher. But then I don't totally trust dishwashers because I don't think they get the dishes as clean. Maybe I'd hire someone to to clean for me or something. Because I really can't stand cleaning either. But yeah, so but I really appreciate the compliment, and the food tastes nice that I do cook. But, like, this is all what I'm talking about being a future self. Like, I could become a different person than what I am now. Like, I have changed myself as well to be like 21 years old using neuro linguistic programming. That's another future self I've made. So, my first future self I created was, instead of being introverted and shy and lonely and very sad in my life, I changed myself to being extroverted, happier, self-dating, um, obviously being in the public eye. I have to tell you something, right, which you probably won't believe, but in 2012, I was leaving a job, and I used to get on really well with a supervisor, friends with him still on Facebook, and I was so scared about going on social media. This is 2012. Scared about going on social media. I never had a Facebook account prior to 2012, and I was really scared, and I was so worried and frightened, and I'm like, "Oh my god." But I knew that I wanted to be in the media. I knew that I wanted to progress my career, and I knew that in order to progress my career in my life, I'd need to be on social media. And I was saying to the supervisor, like, we were having a chat at the till point, actually, but it's very quiet. And we were having a chat, and I was saying to him, like, what's it like being on Facebook? Like, I feel I need to do it for my future, like, self-employment stuff. I think I was talking about self-employment there. I didn't actually become self-employed till 2013 though. And I'm just really worried about it. I'm really freaking out about it, and now I'm all over social media. This is how I'm a different future self to what I was back then. So from introvert to extrovert, from being scared of social media to being all over the social media, embracing it and loving it. And, it's like not being able to design any merchandise whatsoever, and laughing at the fact that someone would even think that I could design any merchandise, to now being able to design it. And it's like, you know what I mean? And years ago, I used to have a really old soul. Like, before the age of 10, my soul used to be so old, and I felt like an old person in a younger body. And then in 2014, so 2014, I actually went to a business event, and it was there that I met Tony. Well, I didn't meet him personally, but live on stage was Tony Robbins, which is one of the world's leading life coaches. And he taught us to change our state through movement and music. So if we're feeling down and depressed, he said to change our state through putting music on to elevate our mood, to change our physiology, which really worked. And when I was doing that, what he told us to do, and we had to get up and hug people. I wasn't a hugger. I couldn't even be touched by anyone but a boyfriend usually at the time. I hadn't got a boyfriend then, by the way, so previous ones, and hug my mum and dad goodbye. That was about it. And then, and so he got us to do that exercise, and I hugged this guy, which was really big in body mass, and he had like a bald head with some flyaway bit of hair on there. I thought, if I hug this guy, I can hug anyone. And I was really uncomfortable before that, and I was still uncomfortable after that. It took me a while to get used to hugging people. Um, and so yeah, it was like really weird. And then all of a sudden, I realized I'm meant to be this younger version of me, that this older version of me is not actually who I am, or not who I am anymore, that I needed to awaken the young version of me, to be the young girl that I was always born to be. Like, why am I having this old persona, and why am I having this life which is not happy for me? Why was I living a 9 to 5 life with a guy? Why was I, living that type of life, and it was just a really big awakening for me. And so I decided then that I don't want to live that life, that I want to live like a teenager, that I don't want to cook and clean for a guy, that I don't want to be living with a guy, that I don't want to be doing housework for a guy, that I don't want to live that type of traditional, stereotypical life that loads of women are expected to lead and do and be. I wanted to be me. I wanted to be the teenager me that I was always born to be. I wanted to be young and vibrant, energetic. I wanted to like dance around to dance music and be my younger teenager self permanently. I wanted to live a teenager life. I didn't want to live this old woman life where you just like go out to work and you come home and you lead this, like, watch TV and you just lead this existence. Well, I gave up TV actually in 2012 when I started my entrepreneurial journey. This is when I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2012. Did I say 2014? So I started it, when did I start my entrepreneurial journey? 2012, and then 2012 it was. 2014 was when I found out I'm asexual. 2012 is when my life changed. So I said 2014 for when I went to this business seminar. It wasn't, it was 2012. It was 2014 I found out I'm asexual. Sorry about that. Yeah. So 2012, like, is when I went to the business seminar and saw Tony Robbins live on stage. And that's when my life changed to being the younger version of me. Like, some people are like, oh, you know, when they get into personal professional development, they're all like, oh, I saw the mature side of me, and I saw this like older version of me that I needed to become. And they're like, with me, it's the opposite. It's like I saw this young version of me that I need to be. This flame that's ignited within me, this happy girl, this young person, not this old person. So that's when I became the younger version of me. And I became, over those years, I became younger and younger until 2017. I had my 21st mindset birthday, because in 2012 as well, I think it was 2012, I did a course with the Coaching Academy that taught us how to change our mind through NLP, neuro linguistic programming. So I reprogrammed my mind to be like 21. I was 23 for a while. In my 2017 book, I actually, which is this book here, Asexual Perspectives, I talk about being like 23 years old. But then actually this came out, yeah, and this came out in 2017, but actually later on, late, but actually, I think, see, this came out in 2017. 2017, people, 2017, yeah, 2017. But it's actually in 2017 I had my 21st mindset birthday, even though in there it says I was like 23, but that's because the ebook version I wrote of this, I released in January 2017. This one I didn't release till June, I think it was June or July, 6 months later, but I'd already written the book then. It was already out there to the world in ebook format. But it was actually, excuse me, I live near a road now. It was actually, in April 2017 that I had my 21st mindset birthday. So although I put like 23 in the book, I'd already changed a few months later to be like 23. 23, from 23 to 21, sorry. See, I'm so excitable because I'm going out tonight actually clubbing. It's my clubbing night. So yeah, I went from 23 to 21. I skipped a year. And so in 2017, when I published this book in January, I said about being like 23. And then in April, I went on my 21st mindset birthday, because April's actually my birthday. And I decided, yeah, I didn't want to be 22. I wanted to be straight away 21, like 21. So then I started to have the mindset of a 21-year-old, which means I can do anything a 21-year-old does if I want to. And put my mind to it, obviously. And so, yeah, so I've done like that ever since. So every year now in April, I celebrate my 21st mindset birthday, because I love being that version of me. I love being the younger version of me. I feel much more energetic and vibrant. I feel happier. I feel not restricted by societal's expectations. I make a point of not like cooking or cleaning and doing stuff like that for my friends or anyone. I make a point of living my own life. I make a point of living like a teenager. I make a point of going out doing things that I believe someone who's 21 years or younger, like a teenager would do. And I love it. You know, I'm not interested in living a conventional life, which is just like basically a 9 to 5 job, come home, watch TV, cook, clean, go to bed and die. I just like, it's like, really, do you want that life? This is like the robotic things we're talking, like this is the conditioning we're brought up with. You know, like go out, get a 9 to 5 job, a lot of which are actually going anyway at the moment. You're like, a corporate job is not safe like it used to be. Thousands of people are made redundant, you know, it's not a safe job anymore, you know, and you know, a lot of people don't like working for companies anymore because we've got our own individuality. More and more people are becoming individualists, if you like, or becoming more aware of their individuality. And that doesn't necessarily go down well when you're working for a corporate company where you're all expected to fall in line and do the right thing. And even if you are a role player, then other people aren't, that can cause disharmony as well. Um, so, you know, there's always something different to life. There's always something better in life, and there's always a better version of you that you can become. I think you should be happy as much as possible with the version you are now. But if you're not happy, clearly you need to make changes. And, you know, it's up to you to do that and take responsibility and accountability for yourself. You know, put it on yourself like, okay, I don't like my life. I don't like this, and this, write it down And then how am I going to change that? Like, you can't necessarily change it all overnight. Like, what one thing am I going to change today? What one thing am I going to work on this week or this month or this year even? Sometimes you just got to work on one thing at a time and like really, really focus on that and think, how can I get better at this? What will it take? What do I need to do? What's the next step? And then go and do that step. What's the next step? And go do that step. What's the next step? And go and do that step, you know? But you are responsible and accountable for your own life. And when you start taking responsibility and accountability for your own life, it's hard at first because obviously we're programmed to like rely on other people when we're a kid. We have to rely on other people. But when we become like later in life throughout our years, we have to know that it's our responsibility. It's not other people's responsibility to make us happy. It's our responsibility to make ourselves happy. Obviously, other people are going to affect us, but if we make ourselves become the best version of us that we can be, we should then attract people who are the best versions of them that they can be. And if you're growing yourself and you attract people that are growing their selves, then you grow together. And then that's a better and more healthier atmosphere, and more healthier life for you both, you know? And no one's perfect. I mean, growth, personal growth is a continuous journey of discovery of yourself, is a continuous thing that you have to do and continue to do. It's work, it's hard work. Like, you don't get told as a kid, "Oh, right, your life's gonna be really hard work right now to work on yourself," because people don't even talk about working yourself. Like in schools and colleges, there's not much about personal development. It's all about like maths and English and science, and they don't teach you many actual life skills. Like, they don't teach you like personality skills. They don't teach you self-care and self-love and compassion and empathy and sympathy and how to express your feelings and emotions in a healthy way, and a boundaries and assertiveness, and how to communicate your feelings, in a healthy way, such as, if someone upsets you, then you need to be able to say, "Hey, I felt upset because when this happened, this is how it made me feel." Rather than like, "You did this, you're really bad, I hate you." It's like, obviously there might be a situation where the person is really, really bad and abusive, and then you need to realize that you've got to put yourself first and get yourself out of that situation, which is, becoming the best version of yourself, the future version, the version that's independent and realizes that you don't have to put up with abuse. You don't have to put up with less than you deserve in life, and sometimes it's hard because you can't get out of that situation straight away, but you have to work towards that as your goal, right? And so whatever it is, the future version of you, like, jot down, like, journal what the best scenario, like, where do you see your life? Like, what country? What are you doing? Who are you with? Where do you want to go in your life? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? And, really, really think about it, because we only get one life and you don't want to be wasting it. You want to be making full use of it. You want to be living your best life. You want to be living your best self. You want to know that there's different future versions of you that you can live into to up level your life, upskill your life, and upskill yourself. And that, we can change our life at any time. We can change our decisions at any time. We can change where we live. We can change how we are. We can change what we want to do. We can change how we want to be. But always know that you've got to come from a place of doing it for yourself. If you do it for someone else, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and you're not changing yourself on a root cellular level. You're changing yourself because someone's pushing you to do it, talking you into doing it, mithering you to do it. Maybe they don't like you the way you are, right? If you like you the way you are, if you're really happy with your life and you think you're great and you have great relationships, great friendships, feel wonderful in your life, then you don't need to change anything, do you? Because like I said, life is all about being happy. However, even if you're in that state, you can still decide that you want more happiness, that you want to improve more relationships, that you want to have better relationships, better friendships, more friends, or that there's some other element of your life that you can improve on. I believe there's always room for improvement, but I believe you have to be also happy with the good things about yourself, and you have to, be happy in the moment in terms of gratitude and grateful, because I think it's important to always look to the future self to become the best version of you, but it's also important to acknowledge the person you are now. Because if we don't acknowledge our successes as we are now, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. Because, if you've changed yourself already, you've come a long way, and that's to be celebrated and applauded and to be recognized. If we go and unrecognized on these things and areas and matters, then there's kind of like no praise for ourselves. We're not actually helping ourselves. Whereas, if you praise yourself for doing something well and, for helping yourself to live your best life and being your best self, then it's going to encourage you to do it more. And there's going to be a payoff. And that payoff might just be that you feel good about yourself more, you feel happier and content, and you just like really appreciate the fact that you've done something for yourself and succeeded. I hope you found this video helpful and insightful. If you have, I'd love to know what you think. And if you haven't, then that's okay too. I know some people might not like this video because it might be a bit triggering for you if you feel that you can't change your life whatsoever and that you feel completely powerless and stuff like that. So if that has been triggering for you, then I do apologize. It's meant to help you, to show you that there's a better way of life if that you can have, to show that you can change life if you want, if you're not happy, and to describe some of the experiences I've had and the changes that I've made in my life so that you can see what is possible, you know. But the best thing to do is obviously to be happy with who you are. And to feel good about yourself right now and do whatever it takes to feel good about yourself right now, because you are precious and you are lovely and you deserve to be happy. And I'm talking about your future best self in a caring and loving way so that you can become more of you, the better, the happier, the more accomplished, the more successful. And when I say successful, I'm not talking about having tons of money. I'm talking about successful as in, being, feeling good. To me, success and happiness are all about feeling good, feeling right, feeling better about yourself and growing yourself. Because if you don't grow yourself, you stagnate and you die inside and you think this is the only things for me, you know? So always know that you can make yourself feel better. You can have a better life. You can feel good, you know? And unfortunately, like we can get addicted to things. We can like get addicted to being the same way all the time. There's things called emotional addictions. Even people who get depressed can have an addiction to the depression, because it changes the physiology, it changes the chemicals in your brain and stuff, so you become used to it, and so that you live in that way because it's what you're used to and what you're comfortable with and what your brain will tell you is right for you to be in, because your brain gets used to it, your physiology gets used to it. And to change and deviate from that is destabilizing, right? So you say in the same frame of mind, even if it's not good for you or healthy. That's why it takes ages to get out of depression. Some people never do it because your brain is telling you this is how you need to be, right? Actually, your brain's not being good for you. Our brain's designed to keep you safe, and if you've been in a state of depression for years, it's a comfortable place for you to be. You recognize it. It feels like comfortable in that way, even if it's horrible. This is very sensitive topics I'm talking about here, you know? I used to be depressed for years. I used to be used to being depressed. Depression used to be like my worst enemy and my friend at the same time, because like when I was in dark places and I only had myself for comfort, it was familiar and it was like, oh my God, like I'm really feeling awful, you know? And I was used to that. And I wasn't used to anything else. And so that was comfortable in a really unhappy, unhealthy, uncomfortable, miserable, sad way. And it's not easy to get out of that. I got out of it because I got diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I mean, it took getting a really difficult disability to change my life. People shouldn't have to have something like that happen to them to be able to change. But that's what happened to me. Before then, I was very depressed, and so it wasn't good. But we get used to patterns of behavior and stuff, we get used to being in the same mindset, and it's really hard to get out of it because our brains will tell us we can't get out of it, and we believe our brains. Why wouldn't we? We've been living with ourselves for years, so it's only through waking up and recognizing that your brain isn't always in your best interests and that the only one that can change is you, that can help, you know? And it's hard, it's really hard, you know? If you need to speak to a therapist or counselor, then I would still recommend and go and do that, you know? You can't do everything alone. Like I said, it's good to get a mentor, a coach, or get some help, you know, but you still have to be accountable and responsible for your own actions. Even when the therapist has helped you, you still have to put and implement what's good for you in your life to help yourself to become better, you know? And so it's down to you to change your life, down to you to get out of different habits and patterns and beliefs. We can reprogram our mind, but it can take a very, very, very long time. And if we've got certain conditions, you know, we have to try and manage those conditions as well as fighting for our own life to live a better life, you know? And if you've got depression, you know, try and get some help as well as trying to help yourself, you know? It's very important, you know, but you can change bit by bit. You know, you don't have to stay stuck. There is help out there. And so, you know, I've helped myself more than any therapist has helped me, to be honest. And that's owed to personal and professional development, you know? It wasn't until I did that that I started realizing I have skills to offer the world, that I have qualities that are good, you know? So start doing things that make you feel good about yourself and realize all the special qualities you've got, because you've got them. I know you have, and I believe in you, and I want you to be happy. Anyway, lots of love to you. Thanks to Liam for being in chat today, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did like it, subscribe. Love to know your thoughts, because obviously this is a very difficult topic to cover for some people. And subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love to you. Bye.